Hey, buddy. How you doing? You all right?
I'm all right. You all right?
You seem to be suffering from low bandwidth.
Am I? Yes, I am. Can you see me okay? Because I can't see you. I mean, I know you're small, but on my screen you're like that small.
Hey, whoa. Hey, I'm Lofa Tatupu. Hi, I'm former All-Pro NFL linebacker Lofa Tatupu. Do you suffer from low bandwidth like me? Come on over to Zone In Wi-Fi, promo code Lofa backwards hat for $27 off.
Code. I'm not sure anyone's sticking around to type all that in.
You know, speaking of you as a pitchman, my brother who lives up there in the PNW down around the Tacoma area tells me that he is almost sick of seeing your face on those Washington Lottery commercials. You're wearing them out up there, man.
Tell him to check out the biceps then. It was leg day though, you know. And they hemmed the absolute shit out of those pants. That's why I couldn't run well. I mean,
are you in the Screen Actors Guild now? Are you full on union member?
Yeah, I'm a SAG member.
All right,
get my SAG on.
Nice. Do you do you get residuals every time that thing airs, or was that like a buyout?
No, I don't really want to talk money. You know, I think that's a little inappropriate, but.
All right. You just want to play the games in front of you, and we'll let the contracts work themselves out. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, you can talk to my rep if you want, you know. But the contract of the details are not to be disclosed this time.
Oh, I love it. Thank you for making me laugh, especially in this week after that Seahawk game. Speaking of that game, shall we start the show?
Let's do it, brother.
All right. Let's hit the theme song.
Let's get this crowd going now. Come on, get him up. Hawks on three. 1, 2, 3. Oh.
Lofa Tatupu is up in the mix.
Go Hawks.
I'm just about that action, boss.
Takes the snap. He's going to throw down the middle. What a catch.
It's intercepted by Lofa Tatupu.
Holy catfish.
Hey, that's great football now.
It's going to work now. Let's keep playing.
Who's got my back? I got your back.
That's Lofa. My player. Triple plant. Thunder. On one. Ready. Play.
Russell looking.
Go Hawks.
Russell scrambling.
Go Hawks.
Pump faking.
Go Hawks.
Still looking. Now he spins out.
We got a fly, baby.
40 down the far sideline. He's still moving. He's going to go. 20, 10. They do it again. Touchdown. Seahawks.
I had to cough right when I was to yell. It's the Seahawks podcast on this Bleav Sports Network. Thanks for tuning in. And on Brinks.tv. Shout out to producer Courtney and producer Katie, and shout out to all you listeners for tuning in. We love you. Thanks for being here. I'm Seahawks superfan Brett Davern. He is Seahawks legend Lofa Tatupu. If you got emails or thoughts or questions that you want to send, it's seahawkspod@gmail.com, or also all social media at Bleav in Seahawks. We also got, speaking of social media, we got the score prediction challenge that goes on Instagram every single game day. Intern Brian, our social media guru, puts out a graphic asking you guys to predict the score of the game that day between the Seahawks and whoever they're playing. And if you nail it, we send you a jersey in the mail that we buy with our own real money. And so far, none of you have won.
Got close.
So try again this coming weekend as the Seahawks will be taking on the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. But before we get into all that, Lofa, the Seahawks came away from that Rams game with a lot more than just an L. Russell is hurt and the franchise is doomed. We might as well pack it all in and become Kraken fans. It's over.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. Before we really get into it, BETONLINE.AG is our wonderful sponsor. Let me tell you about them. They're your online wagering experts, the place to make all your online wagers. And actually, Jimmy Betts, who sends me all the interesting stuff going on.
Mookie's brother.
Yeah, Mookie's brother, Jimmy. Jimmy Betts. So instead of just talking about the normal line and the over-under and all that for the Seahawks game, how about a couple interesting prop bets, Lofa?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, he sent me some interesting prop bets. So total yards allowed by the Seahawks in week 6. The over-under is 390.5. The Seahawks are currently giving up 450 per game. Are you taking the over or the under at 390.5 for this upcoming game, Lofa?
We tied a record, I believe, but we're not going to break the record. So
Okay.
I'm hammering the under. Hammer the under.
Wow, under 390 yards, 390.5 yards. Okay.
I hope so. I hope so. Come on, man.
That one's at
That's a lot of
BetOnline.ag.
yards.
How about this one? Geno Smith, total interceptions for week 6. Over a half or under a half? So it's just half an interception. Basically, do you think he'll throw one?
I was saying no. Under.
All right. Taking the under twice.
Because if we want to win, we cannot turn the ball over. That was going to be one of my keys of the game. Thanks for giving the show away.
How about this one? Will Russell Wilson be a Seahawk week 1 of 2022-2023?
Is that really up there?
Just yes or no. -200 for yes, plus
Is this
one.
a Brett Davern or is this a real actual
No,
prop?
these are real prop bets that you guys can find at betonline.ag. Use our promo code
Bleav. BLEAV.
AV for the welcome bonus at betonline.ag, your online wagering experts. All right, Lofa, let's get into the game that was before the game that is about to be. So the Seahawks lose to the Rams on Thursday Night Football. It feels like the game was played a million years ago, and it was brutal. But look, they got off to a great start. I was really enjoying myself and watching the action green at the beginning, but then the offense went cold in the third quarter. And then, of course, there's that really big story that, of course, we'll get to. But what were your general thoughts about that game and watching it last Thursday night?
Yeah, man, I was there. It was amazing seeing all the action green. Oh, there you go. Image right there.
Yep.
Such a clean look. And, we battled. I was proud of offense and defense battling because that, the Rams are a good team. And so back and forth, we really had a chance to capitalize getting a score, got called back by the holding penalty, and then we missed the field goal, and we've had some issues with the kick lately.
Man, it was a tough one, right? I mean, let's just get right into it here. Russell Wilson, the news is he's out 6 to 8 weeks. Before he went out of the game, he was 11 of 16 for 152. So he'd only missed on 5 passes, even though they had a horrendous third quarter offensively. But 1 touchdown, 1 pick. The pick probably wasn't his fault. I mean, it gets tipped up in the air, whatever. Yeah. But to start out, we were looking good, man. I mean, some of the highlights, we have a clip here, right? The DK catch in the end zone. Russell just rips this pass to DK. If you want to talk about this play here, Lofa.
I would love to talk about this play, Brett.
Yeah, go for it, man. It was a thing of beauty.
Here we go. Safety showing too high. He comes down to the flats late. And, he probably could have taken a little more time to help Ramsey out, but if you listen to Ramsey, he doesn't need any help. But he did on that play. And then the deep middle safety, Russ just zips it in there before he can get over. You can't see it right now, but right here, that guy that came to hit DK, he's supposed to be there for the inside help for Ramsey.
Yeah, great play, and they were looking good. Like I said, before we get into the injury, which we're going to cover it, guys, but before we get into that, I want to, though, focus on this third quarter again. And I know Russell's out now and whatever, but he's going to come back at some point. Why does this offense or this team just sort of they can't put together a complete game? And it was going downhill even before the injury. It wasn't looking good. We ran 13 offensive plays in the third quarter for 16 yards.
Hey, man, I'm going to look at the bright side. We had 13 plays in all of Minnesota game in the second half. We had 12 in the Titans, I think. We're making progress. Believe it or not, Brett, we are making progress. But I don't know, for whatever reason, it hasn't been smooth. And maybe there was something to not playing any preseason. I know we're far away from preseason, and now bodies and minds and even emotions, I guess, if that plays a factor, should be adjusted to get ready to come out and battle. Yeah. But for whatever reason, whether we start off cold, and then we end hot, or we start off hot and fizzle out, it's been a real telling factor to the game.
Hey, partner, I'm telling you, we got to cut you out saying that and send it to ESPN or NFL Network or whoever else, because I haven't heard anyone talking about this as being a factor. And I completely agree with you. The preseason, we talked about it the whole time on our show leading up and through the preseason and into the regular season, that this preseason in the NFL was unlike any other and wasn't going to lead to hurting the team. And I think it absolutely has. And I know you think the same way. And I don't hear anyone else talking about that out there. So credit to you, my friend.
Well, I mean, you just got to look at the variables, and that's the only thing that's changed.
Yeah. Another big penalty takes away points right before halftime. Like you said, there's no way that is the entire reason for the entire third quarter, though, but it couldn't have helped.
No. That was at the holding when, with the throw to Lockett. Yeah.
Holding on to Dwayne Brown takes away the touchdown to Lockett.
Russ stepped up in the pocket. That guy, first of all, if Russ is still in the pocket, like deep back there, it's a hold. But that guy wasn't going to make the play on Russ. Russ was already, I mean, if anything, I thought Russ was going to run. I thought he was going to be over the line of scrimmage. That's how much he stepped in the pocket. Had nothing to do with the play. Ruined my fantasy because I got Lockett, of course. So, there's very upset with that play.
A lot of factors there, yeah. I feel like this isn't the first time, though, this season that you've said that exact same line, that the hold kind of happened after it was already past Russell, and it was on another – I think it was on a third down, maybe in the Titans game or something like that. I can't remember, but what's the deal with this?
There's holding in every play.
Right.
Every single play you could call a hold if you really wanted. Every single play you could call a pass interference, illegal contact, which is odd because when it happened to us at the end on Lockett, not even illegal contact, not a pass interference. We'll get there.
And the commentators saying good no call and all of that kind of stuff. Like there's good no calls, there's bad calls. It's like, just, is it a rule? Is it not a rule? What's going on?
Yeah. And I mean, so it's just, that had nothing to do like with the play. And so I don't know. It's frustrating because there's other ones that do impact the play that don't get called.
Yeah, and what's with Jason Myers not being able to hit these short field goals? I mean, dude, it's one thing to have the touchdown call back, but then he goes in and just whatever it was, wide left, wide right, it wasn't even close.
It's tough, man. And I don't know because I would think he was almost perfect last year, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if he missed an extra point or something, but it's concerning to say the least because especially with kickers, a lot of that's mental, and now, does it become a pattern and does he have confidence going out there? So.
Yeah. Well, to the injury heard around the NFL, it's Geno time, baby. What were your first thoughts when you saw Russ's finger just initially watching the game?
Oh, you mean, made me a little queasy, not going to lie. I mean, I've dislocated fingers, but he straightened it and they went to it and it just went back down. And I was like, oh, gross. And he went to the sideline. He taped that bad boy up, came out, and threw a strike. So I'm like, yo, we're fine. We're fine. So I didn't really get scared until the diagnosis, he flew to – it was a day or two later. They're like, oh, he could be out for the season. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is a problem. Because, I mean, Russ is – take a little second. I know this is Geno time. It says it on the bottom. I know. We'll get to Geno.
Well, that's not a question mark.
But Russ is one of the toughest football players I've ever been around. And when I was coaching, he had a grade 2 pec strain, which you get to grade 3, it's almost ripped off the bone or in half. And played through it, no problem. Didn't miss a snap of practice. Had a grade 2 MCL sprain. Put a DonJoy on. Didn't miss a snap of practice. I mean, so that's the guy we're talking about. So I knew he was going to go back out there, and he did. And he looked pretty good with that throw, but I guess you run the risk of not having it, not being able to detach it or whatever if you wait too long. So he had to get surgery.
Well, take us inside the stadium, though. I mean, you were there. What was the reaction? They go to commercial. You don't really get it on the broadcast.
Yeah, you can hear a pin drop. Everybody holding their breath oh, shit. The guy, Superman, the guy that never misses a game, and I mean, I'm sad to see the streak end, right?
Me too.
That's hard, man. That's hard to do.
I really thought he was gonna surpass. Who is it? Peyton now, I think, holds the record. Peyton Manning.
I'm not sure. I know Favre is up there,
something like that. But I mean, it was obviously it's just heartbreaking. But Geno comes in, and how did he look? Let's talk about Geno.
looked amazing. I mean, 6 of 6, 98 yards. Do you like that sort of thing, Brett Davern?
Yeah. Oh, buddy, that first drive, I mean, he looked good, man. Ripping the ball over the middle, standing tall in the pocket.
Look at those mechanics in that picture. Amazing. Strong.
Yeah.
He might be flexing there. I don't know. But either way, he was getting the ball out quick, and it looked great. And then the receivers, Metcalf was able to get some yards after catch. It looked great. Sharp, quick reads, got the ball out. And, this week, we're going to need to give him some kind of run game, man. We have to give him some kind of help on the ground.
Well, a lot of 12s on deep, dark corners of the internet in grimy, slimy places that most NFL football fans should not go. There are some Seahawk fans who are quietly wondering and quietly, dare I say, interested, if not sort of excited, to see how Geno Smith does with this offense. Because Russell Wilson's been there for 149 games in a row. We haven't seen anybody else in a while. And with the ups and downs and some of the struggles, I think some people are wondering what's going to happen when someone else is running it. What do you think is going to happen when someone else is running it?
I mean, we haven't seen anybody else because the guy running it has done it well. So
no, I know, but you
Russell
know what I mean.
Listen, I don't know what you mean because
you're not hearing people out there who are going, let's give it a shot. Number 3's got great stats, but we're not doing so great in the W and L column right now. Let's give someone else a chance. And you were never going to get that without an injury. I'm just saying you were never going to get this opportunity without an injury.
There's
what
still
happens
12
when
more games? There's still 12 more games, man. Right. I mean, what are you insinuating? What are you really
Listen,
saying?
I'm not, first of all, I'm just reading Seahawks Twitter and I'm searching Twitter and I'm finding some deep, dark corners of the internet where some people are just sort of, raising an eyebrow and going, let's see what happens here. Because, guys,
we don't have a choice.
About it. Lofa, we talked about it. This is a make or break season for Russell with the team, right? If Geno let's say Geno goes 6-0, right?
Yeah.
What happens at the end of this season? So it's juicy. There's a lot of question marks,
well,
and we would have never
6-0,
got the opportunity to run this experiment.
If you go 6-0, there's still 6 more games. So I'm not worried about the rest of after the season. What happens the rest of the season? What do you think happens? Brett, unless he puts up 50 points every game, and look, I love Geno. I want to see Geno playing, if not for us, somewhere else to get his chance to shine. But it's going to take like 50 points a game for them to be like, we're going to stick with Geno over Russ. It's just not going to happen, even when he comes back after injury. And so, like I said,
Look, okay. I'm not in any way insinuating that Geno Smith takes the job from Russell or any. I'm not.
That's what it sounded like to me.
No. What I'm saying is, if he comes in, plays really well, and runs the offense really efficiently, with all of the offseason drama between Russ and the team, and everybody talking about this being a make or break year, and will he? Dude, people were already talking about whether he'd be a Seahawk next year, regardless of the injury. So. It's not out of line to ask the question, bro, buddy. We talked about it on this show already. BetOnline has a prop bet out there about it, and it's not just because of the injury. The injury only adds to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Always make me feel bad for just asking the question, guys.
Wait,
I'm just asking.
This isn't Russell's final year, though, on the contract, right? He still has one more. Is that?
Well, I mean, if he. Weren't we talking about trades in the offseason? Weren't there names of teams that were floated? Wasn't there 4 possible landing places? I mean,
yeah, they all drafted quarterbacks, I think. So right. I don't think they have any.
Moving on to the defense, I'll let it go. Look, there are some people out there that are just kind of a little not excited, but just a little bit like, okay, let's see what happens, and curious, I'll say.
We'll see what happens. Rhyme with Davern?
Stop it. I will not be accused of this. This is ridiculous. I host a show about the Seahawks. It's my job to bring up things that pertain to the Seahawks. How dare you?
Next subject.
All right. Next subject. The defense.
Oh, next subject. Keep going. Let's go to the next one.
Come on. Fill in the blank. The defense was blank.
okay for a half. Yeah,
Right.
I like to point to positives. That's what I'm gonna.
Score, I think, dude, honestly, like pre-game, if you tell me that halftime score, you say, would you sign up for that right now? I think a lot of people would say yes, probably. The defense was fine through the first half. My only question for them would have been, why don't you cover Robert Woods a little more often?
I think,
but
you know, what they did what they had to do. They got off the field in the first half. You know, we looked solid. Stafford missed a couple throws, like a couple guys. Your boy Kupp was open a couple times and he just missed them. But the defense played solid.
Stafford didn't look really on point with some of these throws, and they were talking about he's dealing with maybe some injuries or stuff like that. It kind of showed. Yeah,
it didn't look that sharp, but they made enough plays, right? And the second half, I don't think we got worn down or anything. I think it really just came to guys trying too hard. I saw guys out of gap, you know. It looked like Dunlap did a swim move on that one where, I mean, everybody was looking at Bobby. Bobby got pushed in the back. Bobby had his gap. And when he was about to dive to get the tackle, that was a gap over. Geno aborted the B gap. And then that was when Kupp came up and led block on Jamal, right? So it was like a perfect storm. And I mean, but if Dunlap shoots that B gap, Bobby goes over the top and it's inside out with Jamal and Bobby on Kupp. And I think we win that battle pretty easily. So, and then another stretch or a zone. They gashed us for a big gain, another big gain up the middle. Jamal ran over the top instead of just staying backside, you know, because that's what we love about Jamal, because he makes some wow splash plays. And, you know, when things start to break like that, you start, what did you say?
Yeah, you're about to get mad at me about Jamal. We're going to get to Jamal Adams.
We will, but I'm just saying gap integrity. I'm just saying gap integrity in the run game. And that's what was kind of missing. Guys were trying too hard. And, you know, I've been out there when it's happened. And, you know, like I got the A gap and Frank Gore just keeps ripping it outside. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go see what's going on out there. And then like, oh, shit, there goes Frank in the A gap. I had the A gap. Like, you know, it happens. And so you just have to – there's like a trust thing going on there. And that's all I was trying to get to in terms of what some of the breakdowns been in the run game. In the pass game, you know, it's a matter of that's not scheme. It's a matter of not playing the plays correctly. And
one of the bright spots, though, on defense through the season so far, I'll say, is Quandre Diggs. Man, we got – sorry.
I was going Daryl Taylor.
Yeah. Well, he's been good too, but I was going to say we have footage of Diggs' interception in the red zone.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
I mean, listen, one of our safeties talked about having multiple interceptions this year. It's just not the one who does have multiple interceptions this year.
Yeah.
All right.
And then he's breaking out of the pocket, break contain, and then he's trying to put it in the back corner, but his guy stopped. It sat down on it. And the fact that, you know, Diggs, it was an unbelievable catch there. Getting the down, beautiful athletic play, man. And, you know, the best part was when Stafford got traded, because they were teammates in Detroit. Diggs tweeted out or put a post out that says, I guess I got to go pick off number 9. You know, and he did.
And he was.
I like that. He's a man of his word.
No, that was, I mean, dude, look at the score there. 0-0, beginning of the second quarter. You just pick off Stafford in the red zone. I mean, I was in a little pizza joint in Idlewild, California, watching this game, and I'm like standing up at the table cheering. Like it was all good at that point.
Toe jag swag.
Toe jag. Yeah, love it. Next subject, though, is Jamal Adams. I said we got to talk about this because now again, I'm going to talk about these Seahawk fans in deep, dark corners of the internet. But they aren't happy, man. And I don't blame them. I'm not happy either. Am I crazy? Are they crazy? Are we crazy? Are we missing something, Lofa? Because it doesn't seem like he's having the year that this big contract he got demands.
No, I understand. And that's, you know, rightfully so. You're justified in you know, saying that. But I don't even know what's going on because we're not seeing the production that he had. 9.5 sacks. He only played, 13 games last year. He missed 2 or 3. And so, we're here in week 5 or week 6 and hasn't registered a sack, a forced fumble, a big play, interception. We haven't seen it. And he had some lofty goals coming into it, as you pointed out several times. So,
yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I'm just a fan, but as I'm watching the game, it's like I can remember him having one great big hit, and I think it was a game ago he had a great pass breakup on a big hit, and other than that, it's like a couple bad penalties, some missed tackles on running backs, some bad angles, some breakdown in coverage. I mean, that long play to Deshaun Jackson. The breakdown in coverage is the most concerning, whether it was the wheel route in San Fran to Debo, or it was some over the middle, just play action, holding the eyes of everybody underneath. It's not just Jamal, that's all the intermediate zone, our linebackers and whatever safety is down. You have to play deep to short. And, when you play short, they leave so much space for those guys on the back end to actually – because they don't want to get ran by. So they're going to play it top down too. And so there's been some over the middle, it's wide open in the middle. And that's in the hooks, right? And so then the cover 2 that you want to, I'll talk to it. I'll get to it.
Yeah.
So it was 2-man, and Sid Jones, God bless his heart, he was nowhere near Deshaun Jackson on that play. And in the mind of Jamal, I was like, shit, I got to go and I have no help. And I get that. And it's, Deshaun Jackson, who's ran by everybody his whole career. So he does the right thing and he gets over the top. Now, the only thing that confused me was I know Jamal looked back. Deshaun looked back. But Jamal, if you're worried about him running by you, you have to get to the man and then play the ball. And he went to go play the ball. And had he actually turned inside with the man, he would have outjumped Deshaun and went the other way with a pick. And so it's not solely on him, but that is, especially highest paid safety, you're expecting him to make not panic and make the proper play right there. So, but he did do his job in terms of keeping it underneath him.
Well, I got to ask the question. And now, again, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just asking the question. If you could do it over again, if you could go back to when they made the trade and all of the above, would you make the same move based on what you're seeing?
Off last year? Yes. But then this year, it's kind of confusing of how another year in the system, we've taken a step backwards. And we've got, for the most part, a lot of the guys here. But we don't have one major piece. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration building up because you give Jamal the big contract, but you don't get to keep KJ Wright.
There's one man that could save us, and it's KJ Wright.
But also, dude, what about Shaq Griffin? He's balling out in Jacksonville. He's he's their shutdown corner, and we don't have our corners. We've lost a lot of pieces, and we've signed some big contracts, and that's the chatter online, and I get it. And I mean, I don't know.
My whole thing is we can still salvage the defense at least. I can't speak for the offense. The Raiders, would they sign KJ for the minimum or the vet minimum, I think, and maybe some roster bonuses? I think he played 10 or 15 snaps each of the last 2 games. So they're not using him. Just go send a 7th or a 6th round pick over for him, get him back home. Get him back next to Bobby, where everybody can be a little more confident out there because they're communicating, telling everybody what's coming. But, there's the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet, and that's what the beauty of a football player is. And when KJ's in there, he's alerting down in distance. He's alerting, possible formation shifts and tendencies. And then if he doesn't have any in the flats, he will push the coverage and allow the other guys to move. So now we can flood a zone with 2 defenders and there's nowhere to go. And that's the stuff that, I miss, right? I miss seeing that, just him out there playing football.
Well, this is a supersized episode, everybody, because we're a little late getting it out this week. So we're talking about the game that was with the Rams, and now we're moving on to the Pittsburgh game, unless you got anything else left from the Rams. I mean, it's frustrating all the way around. And I look, I think a lot of Seahawk fans are just frustrated because in the glory days of going to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl against the Broncos, and going back against the Patriots and those teams, we didn't really have a lot of these highest paid guys in the league and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And now we're going for some of these contracts, and it's just not working out. We used to just have a bunch of dudes, that were just kind of football playing, hardworking, whatever guys. And now we got just a lot of like these big contracts, and they're just not living up to it. And it's frustrating, right?
It's hard to sustain success over a long period of time. And in order to do that, look, you got to draft well. That's what we did early on. And I don't know if that's changed completely, but I mean, you look at those 2010, I believe, even as amazing as the 12 class was, you get Russ and Bobby, two surefire Hall of Famers. It's hard to say there was any class, but the most important class, it really has to be that 10 class. And I saw it when they came in, Cam, Earl, Russ Okung, just Golden Tate. It was stacked. The whole draft was stacked.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to save some time on one of the episodes next week and talk a little bit about the draft, because looking back through the past couple drafts and stuff, it's not really pretty, and it's a subject that I think we should talk about as Seahawks. Yeah. But on to Pittsburgh here.
We're on to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Seahawks are early favorites, actually, according to Jimmy Betts. If you want to get over to BETONLINE.AG, at least they were at the beginning of the week. I'm not sure what it's at right now, but how did that happen? Are the Steelers really that bad this year?
Is Jimmy giving us correct lines? Because I think the last time we were favored in LA against LA, weren't we?
I'm telling you, man. I even guested on another podcast, a Steelers podcast called Behind the Steel Curtain, and I was asking them, like, how are the Seahawks favored in this game? I mean, what's going on with Pittsburgh this year?
I haven't watched much of them, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look promising out there. So maybe we are.
Yeah.
They got a strong defense. They always do. But
that's what I was going to ask you. What should the 12s be worried about? I mean, Juju is out. Ben's getting older. Naheem Hines had kind of a coming out party last week, and we haven't been great in run defense. That's where my mind would go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, Najee Harris. That's
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Yeah, you're watching fantasy. It's okay. Happens.
Bro, Naheem Hines, Colt. Sorry.
Yeah. He did have a pretty decent day, though. But Harris, yeah, they gave him 20, 23 carries. They gave him, a large volume of carries. And so it is. Because, I mean, when you look at our defense, I think 31st in run, I think it's 142 or 150 yards, which I don't know if that's ever been the case in the Pete Carroll era.
Well, and he's another one of these Alabama running backs, right?
Yeah, that's just a beast. Just keeps going.
Good.
How do they manage all these carries? I mean, throughout all of college and then the NFL, that is grueling, man. That's hard. But so you can't afford to let him get going. I know Juju's down, but Claypool that just means they're going to get more targets to, a very explosive receiver in Claypool. I mean, I think he got upwards of 12 targets last week and came down with maybe 10 of them. Beast. And had him on my bench. Should have been starting. But yeah, that's what they can expect is, Pittsburgh, whatever they want to do. I mean, right now, how we're looking, they have the option to run or pass. And then so, like I said, you got to take one away. I don't care if you drop 8 and they just run the ball all day, or you get after them and shut the run down. And if they, because Ben has not looked like Ben until maybe last week. He had his best outing, 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns, no interceptions, but he's had a rough start to the 2021 season.
Well, we already talked about Geno from the Rams game, but what should we expect from Geno? I mean, realistically, like if you're watching the game and when you're watching the game, Lofa, what are you looking for? What's going to signify that maybe he'll have a good game or whatever? What are the keys for Geno?
I mean, we got to give him some sort of a run game, but I expect it just like that drive. The ball is out quick, like under 3 seconds if we can, but at least by 3 seconds. And, I think if we get that going, that will loosen up a very aggressive downhill defense, and he'll have the ability to maybe work a double move and hit the the deep ball to either Lockett or Metcalf. And, that was another thing. We got behind the Rams coverage. Lockett got behind. He was 3 times open. One time he was interfered with. Another time questionable. They didn't call it, but you could have. And then he was wide open on the left sideline it was a fly motion, and he just took off. We had play action, and Russ just didn't have enough time. And I know everybody like from the stands, they're like, "Oh, he was wide open." So I was like, "Yo, Russ is, first of all, he's 5'10". The pressure was coming right from that left shoulder, and that's where he's looking to throw. You don't have time to see if Lockett's open, and that's just me being a high school quarterback. I can't imagine what it's like in the NFL.
Oh, that play is circulating on Twitter. I mean, and you're kind of right. It's a little unfair, but that all 22 video is circling on Twitter.
He sat as soon as that right foot hit. Like, oh God, who's that? Is that Aaron Donald? Let me get out of here.
Yeah.
So,
what about the defense against the Steelers? How do we fix this defense? They're ranked 32nd, which is I don't know if you're counting, but that's the worst in the league.
I was going to say it's close to the bottom. Is that
nowhere to go for this defense? It's not good, man. How do they fix this thing? I mean, do they start listening to us and just change Jamal's position and play some more Ryan Neal? Ryan Neal's my next subject up anyway.
Right. Oh, okay. Should we blend these two and just talk about both?
Great. Yeah, let's move on right away. Release Ryan Neal, and I don't mean from the team. I'm in a Kraken style. Release Ryan Neal, man.
Yeah.
Let him out.
I mean, there's just a guy that makes plays every time he goes in. Every time he goes in, he makes a play. So why don't we put him in more? I mean, especially after the game he had in San Fran, I'm not going to say shut down, but on 2 plays, he had tight coverage against Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the league. And he did pass break up one of them. Another time he came down into the hook and they ran the ball. He shocked and shed, hat in hands, got off the block of a guard. This isn't like he took on a fullback or a receiver to make the tackle, and he made a hard hit against the running back. And so he's a ball player, man. He's got to go in. And if you want to line Jamal up at the end, I think he'll give you the 12 sacks that he's calling for. Because he's strong enough and fast enough to hold the point of attack. If they run at him, all he has to do is just, undercut the guy and go around. Like, just run around and make the tackle. He could do that.
Look, I mean, he can do all kinds of things, and not that he can't have all these things in his mind at one time either, but maybe he's just got too much he's thinking about. Rushing, coverage, this, that. Yeah. It's just too much. Keep it simple, stupid, for just let him cut it loose. Yeah.
Let him go get it.
Pete said about Ryan Neal, because Pete was asked about this, why isn't Ryan Neal playing more? And Pete said it just wasn't part of the game plan or something like that. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but basically he just said it just wasn't part of the game plan. What?
I don't know. I mean, that's tough. That's tough to take. I mean, that's tough to take if you're Ryan Neal after what you put on tape the week before. It's tough to hear as a fan that, okay, one of the most productive, had to be one of the highest graded, every time he's been out there. Can't see the field, and
that the coaching staff is saying we're not even like
wasn't in the game
plan on putting him in. I mean, can you kind of walk fans through that? You were on the coaching staff. Like, what does that even mean when he says it's not part of the game plan?
Well, I mean, right now we have 2 safeties, so someone's going to have to come out if he's going in. Or, like I said, the only other thing you do is bump Jamal down to linebacker or one of those Leo rush edge guys. And insert Neal. So I understand what Pete says. It just wasn't part of the game plan. And maybe the Niners ran a couple more looks where it required maybe additional safety and one less lineman. Because we did rush 4 people instead of 5 a couple of times, or have 5 D linemen body types out there. So that's the only thing I could think is schematically they wanted to go with a different look. But either way, it's upsetting because that's one of our best ball players.
Yeah, man. I mean, you guys tell us, Seahawkspod@gmail.com. What do you guys think? Because I just feel like the Seahawks, the coaching staff, the whatever it is having a conflict between their head and their heart, sort of. And it's like, just play the guys that are playing the hardest and making plays and stop thinking too much. I just feel like the whole team is tight and thinking too much and in their head, and we just got to go cut it loose. The Seahawks did, speaking of cutting loose, they did waive waived Trey Flowers. The team waived Trey Flowers, rookie Trey Brown. So a saga of the two Treys here. Finally returned to practice. So that's our top draft pick, right? So he's finally back practicing and could be activated this week. But thoughts on the waiving of Trey Flowers?
It's tough, man. As a former player, I feel for anybody that gets cut, and especially for him to have to take the ridicule that comes with being in the spotlight. It's not like he didn't want to play well. And so I want everybody to understand that he's still a human being. We have feelings.
Absolutely.
Like, don't shit on us all the time, man. But so that's what I really feel for the kid. And I hope he goes somewhere, and either the scheme is more tailored to him. I hope him and his agent figure that out. And, whether he has to go back to safety, which is what he played, I think, the majority of his career, and is more comfortable, then put him back there. So, I hope he figures it out. And but it's tough. Once a Hawk, always a Hawk. I'm gonna root for him wherever he goes.
Absolutely. And he's obviously an amazing athlete. He's got the size, he's got the length, he's got all the things. I mean, Pete and us, we kind of put him in a position that he's not used to playing. I don't know how much of it really was on him. And so, I agree with you, man. I hope he gets a chance somewhere else too. I'm rooting for him. Week 6, though, against the Pittsburgh Steelers, is it a must win? Yes or no?
I mean, I don't want to put that kind of pressure on my man Geno, but it's a must win.
Okay. Looking around the rest of the NFL, we have to bring it up because this big story, probably the biggest story in the NFL. John Gruden out with the Raiders, stepped down amid allegations of racism, misogyny, and all kinds of other stuff through emails and blah, blah, blah. You guys can read about it in the New York Times or whatever if you want. But it's a big story. I mean, you have any thoughts?
I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's confusing because, he wasn't coaching at the time. And that's like really he was in the booth. So like any decisions made weren't, I don't think, affecting him. Right. So I don't know what happened really. You hear what they report, which even
that's
like
good.
It's coming down like, well, the NFL didn't leak those. And then other people are saying, well, yes, they did. And so it's like, either way, it's things that, not just in the game, we're trying to embed in society. And so that's what's, sad, and, most disheartening about it. And I mean, you look at the field, you look at the back of helmets, it says, stop hate, so I don't know. It's my thoughts on it, man. Stop hate, spread love.
No, the whole thing's just a mess. I mean, it's a lot. Some of the stuff was from a long time ago. Some was from more recent. You really don't know what end is up and what is in anyone's mind and heart and all these things. And it's just, I don't know. Just, I say on the beginning of our morning show that producer Katie and I do every day, I say at the end of it every time, just be kind and take care of each other.
Yeah.
Everybody just chill out, be kind. It's whatever. The whole thing's weird. We're going to keep watching it. And it definitely happened at a weird time for the Raiders. They go from being 3-0 to now they're 3-2. And now he's stepping down and the whole thing's a mess.
Yeah.
So to zone in segment, though, let's zone in on some stuff for our Seahawks here. Zone In CBD is Lofa's company, the best CBD in the game. Go to zoneincbd.com. Use our promo code
Bleav. BLEAV
for 20% off of your purchase at zoneincbd.com. Lofa, Seahawks at Steelers, Sunday Night Football. I wasn't really going to bring up Super Bowl 40, but I mean, it is the Seahawks versus the Steelers. These aren't the old Seahawks versus Steelers, but it is the Seahawks versus Steelers, which you have a lot of experience with. Who you got in this one?
Like 16 years ago. You didn't even ask me a question about that game, and you just brought it up.
No, I just brought it up to mention it because I don't think that you're going with the Steelers is my point.
Hell no, I'm not going with the Steelers. Never.
There you go. That was the point.
Hey, but staying along the lines of stop the hate.
Provide context for why you would probably never pick the Steelers.
Staying along the lines of stop the hate. I don't hate the Steelers, man. I hate referees. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
At least they can't
That's
find
true.
me. They can't find me anymore.
No, you can say whatever you want about that game now.
Yeah,
I mean, you
no.
could take the holding call on Jeremy Stevens, or no, sorry, the pass interference. You could do the holding call on Locklear. We could do the Ben Roethlisberger didn't have the ball across the goal line. Which one do you want?
Ben's knee was down. No. All right. Anyways, so what are we doing? We're picking right here? Yeah, I got the Hawks.
Who you got in this
I got the Hawks.
Uh-huh.
I think Geno's going to rip it for 300 yards, couple tutties, as my guy likes to say. You know, Lockett's going to just go off, you know, and then I think Alex Collins is going to make magic happen. Then we go to the defensive side, and I think we're going to get 3 turnovers. That's what's going to happen. And look, we need all of this to happen to win. And so,
wait a second, we got a lot of. Hold on a second.
I'm manifesting this right now.
Intern Brian's got to write all this down. Wait, we got 2 touchdowns for Geno, 3 turnovers.
He can rewind it.
3 turnovers for the defense. Lockett going off. All right, I like this so far.
Yeah.
Sign me up. What do you got for a final score then?
And a big win. Hawks 30, Steelers 22.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
This is where we get back on track.
All right. Get back on track. How about get on track at all?
Whatever.
This season? It's been up and down. Let's put this thing on the rails. Here's my prediction, everybody. And you know that my prediction doesn't mean as much because I'm just a fan and I don't know anything. So don't bet based on me. I think that the Seahawks will win this game as well, but I think it's going to be a lot uglier than you think it's going to be. And I think the Seahawks ultimately win this game 15-8.
That's gross, but I like it.
Hey man, that wind at Heinz Field is weird. You know, I think we can see some missed field goals again. Unfortunately,
Don't you say that.
It's gonna be one of those weird Seahawks Sundays.
15. There's got to be a field goal in there somewhere, unless you went for 2.
Do you dislike? I won't say hate, but do you dislike everything about the Steelers as much as I do? The terrible towels, color yellow.
Nah, don't really care.
The way that their helmets are asymmetrical.
Are they?
Yeah, they only have the logo on one side. And then they play in a giant ketchup bottle. It's weird. They got a big ketchup bottle on their field.
You raised some good points. But no.
That's crap on us.
I don't give them any thoughts. I don't give them any of my energy.
I probably give them too much of my energy.
You
in
do.
a negative way, yeah. That's it for us, everybody. You guys can send emails anytime. Seahawkspod@gmail.com. Follow us on any social media at Bleav in Seahawks. The final score prediction challenge going on Instagram. We'll put that graphic up there on our Instagram timeline on Sunday, everybody. So go leave your final score prediction challenge, and if you nail it, you could win a Seahawks jersey. Lofa, break us down, please.
Okay. Let's just go nice and simple. We're going to get this W, but let's spread love, brother, just like you said.
All right.
Spread love on 3. 1, 2, 3. Spread love.
Spread love.
It's the Brooklyn way.
I can dig it.